3 years ago, I made 2 videos on this channel titled The 10 Commandments versus the 9 Satanic Sins and the Misconceptions of Satanism. Both of these types of videos were designed and made for the purpose of educating people on the difference between, well, Satanism and Christianity in terms of their core 10 commandments and their rules, and also addressing a lot of misconceptions with Satanism. And today is a day where I am making another one of these videos where I'm going to explain to you the differences between the Satanic Bible and the Holy Bible. Both are 2 radically different books that claim different things, and we're going to take a look at how exactly they differ in their core beliefs and claims about humanity, about the world, about science, about rape, about every possible little thing that I know of that the Bible claims within the Christianity, and the difference between what the Satanic Bible claims in terms of how it views our world. So the first comparison we're going to take a look at is how the Bible versus the Satanic Bible views Satan. For one, the Holy Bible in Christianity claims that Satan is a fallen angel, that he fell from God's kingdom, he chose to rebel, and when he rebelled, when Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden, turning into that slithery, temptational snake, doomed humanity for the rest of, well, eternity, for the most part. As long as Earth is around, we're all doomed unless we become Christians. One of the core values of the Holy Bible is, in order to be a Christian, you must believe in Satan. Satan is a real spiritual entity that's constantly trying to make your life a miserable, insufferable, depraved human where you can never choose to be good naturally. The only way you can choose to be good, to make good, conscious, loving choices, and to go to heaven one day is to become a Christian. And part of that core value system is to believe in Satan. In the Satanic Bible, however, Satan doesn't even exist. In fact, if you've seen my previous video that I made 3 years ago, Satanism was kind of just designed to piss people off. Satanism itself isn't actually a religion, despite what Christians may tell you. Growing up in a Southern Baptist home, any mention of the word Satanism, there's always these misconceptions thrown that, oh my God, a Satanist, you have the Satanic Bible, you worship Satan. When the reality is the Satanic Bible doesn't claim that Satan even exists. In fact, they don't believe Satan exists. They don't believe that God exists. In case you don't know already, the Holy Bible doesn't make a lot of room for science. How exactly does the Holy Bible take in science versus the Satanic Bible? Well, you see, you first have to understand that the Holy Bible is infallible, meaning it's without error. It is a holy book that everything is written in it. There's no mistakes written by the people who wrote it. That's what infallible means. Without error, flawless book, no mistakes, a book that just is 100% truthful. And you start to wonder, how many books do we have that claim that they're 100% truthful? In Christianity, the Holy Bible, science is explained in the Bible. Creation, the book of Genesis, it displays the act of how science and the world and everything came into being, not through evolution, but through God speaking it into existence. Anything in terms of the Big Bang and anything in terms of evolution, that's all preposterous bullshit. The Book of Satanism claims that your beliefs should change based upon scientific discoveries, which is how I personally view science, and I think many people watching view science. Science is just not this one thing that stays permanently forever and ever and ever. When we find new scientific discoveries about our world, evolution, the Big Bang, space, star systems, the vast galaxies around the world, when we find these new planets, these new discoveries, we change our theories, we change our scientific discoveries based upon that new information. The Bible does not allow any of that. Another important comparison to make is how the Holy Bible compares to the existence of Jesus to the Satanic Bible. The Holy Bible claims that Jesus is the Son of God. He is the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. He's technically 3 entities all in one, the Holy Trinity. But Jesus is also human, but he's also God, however that works. In the Book of Satanism, however, the Book of Satanism actually claims that Jesus actually existed. Jesus was, I believe this, by the way. Jesus was a real person. I believe he was a real person within history, but I do not believe that he was the Son of God. The Satanic Bible believes that Jesus was a real person throughout history, just that he wasn't what he claimed to be. He wasn't this man who turned water into wine, who turned fish into bread, or was it bread into fish, and fed 5,000 people from one loaf of meat/bread, None of that happened. At least that's what the Book of Satanism claims. And well, from a scientific perspective, I agree with it. Jesus existed. He just was not the Son of God. The next comparison between the Holy Bible and the Satanic Bible is our purpose on this earth. Because in the Holy Bible, our purpose is to glorify God in everything that we do. We should be following the 10 Commandments. We should be following God's commandments of how we view the world around us and how every action should be done with the intention to glorify and worship Jesus Christ. The Satanic Bible, however, is all about self-fulfillment, also known as Epicureanism. Self-fulfilling yourself, being happy, and not hurting anybody in the process of that. The Holy Bible believes that you cannot truly be a happy person without Jesus in your life, without having Christ in your life. The Satanic Bible claims that you gain happiness through yourself, which is true. You and I, create our own happiness. We don't have to rely upon some intelligent spiritual entity in order to be a happy person. We don't need to accept that entity into our life personally and have a personal relationship in order to not only do good, but to be just generally a happy person in general. We can't do that in the Holy Bible. Satanism, on the other hand, well, it's very practical stuff. It's stuff that, for the most part, I believe, although I personally don't identify as a Satanist myself because this is all very practical shit. It's important that you and I understand the differences between how the Holy Bible differentiates between the Book of Satanism. And our final comparison between the Holy Bible and the Satanic Bible is rape. Of course, religion always has something to say about rape, does it not? But in the Holy Bible, and specifically in Deuteronomy 22:28-29, there is a passage which says that a woman can be sold to her rapist. When a virgin is raped, she can then be sold as a slave to her rapist. The Satanic Bible says, do not make sexual advances towards anyone, unless that sexual advance is reciprocated, which I think is pretty important, since that basically says you need to have a consenting party reciprocate feelings or sexual, behavior in order to not rape someone. Pretty significant difference there. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the core values of the Holy Bible versus the Satanic Bible. And there actually are a lot more differences between the two things. I could sit here and talk for hours upon hours. But in terms of the core values, the core standards of which each book talks about, which makes somebody a Christian, what makes somebody a Satanist, those are the differences between the two books. So I hope this was educational in some way. I hope you learned something that maybe you didn't already know. But before we end here today, I'd like to recommend an audiobook, Foundational Falsehoods of Creationism, written and narrated by Aaron Ra, who, if you don't know already, is actually a YouTuber on YouTube. If you sign up to Audible today, you can get a free 30-day trial along with a free audiobook of your choosing. Just use my Vena URL linked down below, audible.com/Mr. Repzion, for that free 30-day trial. They have a massive library to choose from for your listening entertainment and enjoyment, but this audiobook in particular is definitely a recommended title that I recommend you listen to. And until next time, thank you for watching. My name is Daniel Solzbach, also known as Mr. Repzion. All my social media links are linked down below. Feel free to join our Discord. I'm in there pretty much every single day, especially in the evening, and since I am done with my finals, I have a lot more free time. Thank you for watching this video. Also, feel free to check out my Patreon if you want some super duper special perks.